What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And we're back in the ghetto. I know it sounds weird. I was so excited to do Chinatown. I was like always talking about Chinatown left and right. But here we are in the ghetto. And why, you may ask? Well, last week I talked about getting IBX Toy Cat here, getting some other YouTubers here, a lot of people here to play some GTA mode. And we're not going to be able to do that. I mean, we could. But I don't want to do that until we got this ghetto filled with stuff. So last Monday I did a ghetto chest filling episode, and I'm going to continue that today. We're going to work on the train yard, we're going to work on the homeless shanty town, and we're going to get started on Jose's auto body. And we're going to fill up chests left and right. And this place is going to be ready to loot and scavenge, and it's just one notch closer to more GTA mode in the ghetto. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing on camera today. Of course, I'm going to fill out the big ticket items first, and then I'm going to go back and add some junk, and I'm going to go back and add even more junk. So it's a big process, and I'm going to go from chest to chest to chest, and you'll see how it goes. You know what I mean. So while I do that, while you watch that in the background and you don't look where I'm putting the good stuff, just don't look at it. Just listen to my voice, okay? We're going to talk about today's creative question of the week because it's Monday, and Mondays is the day when we do building in fast forward motion, and we talk about the question that you guys submit in the comment section below for the previous week. And it's fun, it's exciting, it's informative, it's enlightening, it's all the things that you hope it to be. Sometimes it's aggravating, I don't know, whatever, okay? So today's Monday, yes, and be sure, guys, that you realize that you guys direct the direction of this creative question of the week series, these Monday episodes. Whatever questions you ask is the way it's gonna go. So if you're tired of me talking about one certain topic or one certain theme, then it's up to you to change the conversation, right? This is a conversation, sort of. So you ask the questions, I give the answers, so it's all on you. So put a question in the comment section below if you have one, so that we can get down and dirty. Okay, all right, today's creative question of the week comment comes from Arit Chef. He's asked so many questions, therefore he's going to get answered so many times. But I want to thank you, Arit Chef, for asking a lot of questions. And he says, I don't know if this is a creative question of the week. Have you ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho? If so, do you think it relates to psychic abilities? Oh, Arit Chef, you just read my mind. I'm an avid reader. I've read a lot of books, okay? And The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is my favorite book of all times. There's still not been a book that's made me feel the way that The Alchemist made me feel. And it's a relatively short book. If you haven't heard of it, a lot of you have read it. It's not like a required reading for schools or anything, but it's one of the most popular books in the world for a good reason. It's been translated into thousands of languages. So if you haven't read it, it's short, it's transformative, it's enlightening. Go read The Alchemist. Now, I'm going to try my best not to spoil it, but it's going to be tough to talk about it without spoiling it. Let me just give you the basis overview of what The Alchemist is. It's about this boy named Santiago, and he lives in Spain, and he lives like a shepherd's life, very meager. He's always dreaming about what else is out there in life. And I guess he's sleeping under a tree in a church, and he has this dream. And this dream tells him that he has to go to the pyramids in Egypt. And he wakes up from this dream and has this unresistible urge. He has to go. So he basically says bye to his family and pursues his dream. And I don't want to give away too much, but he goes through all sorts of things. He goes to a crystal shop, and he gets sidetracked there because he wants to make a lot of money. So he spends a year working at this shop. He becomes super wealthy, and that money helps him get closer to Africa, to Egypt. And he gets stuck with an alchemist. There's all sorts of adventures along the way, and each adventure gives him something a little extra that he can use to get to Egypt, right? Along the way, he's presented with all these situations and circumstances that don't really seem to relate to his dream, but he finds out that they're bringing him closer to Egypt. Closer and closer and closer. And he goes through all sorts of struggles, and he meets I think he had a girlfriend at home. I think that's what it was. I think he left his girlfriend. But so along the way, he's having all these experiences, all these adventures. And Eventually, I don't want to spoil the book. Oh, the book is so good. I can't spoil it. Oh no, how am I gonna do this? Let's just say that he gets to Egypt, and what he finds wasn't what he. Oh, I can't really explain it. But okay, for those of you who read it, I'll talk about how this applies to not really sort of psychic abilities, but it's not really, okay? The whole point of this book is that you need to follow your heart. Now, that's very cliche for a lot of people. It doesn't have any meaning, but there's a very concrete meaning behind it that a lot of people don't realize when they hear the term, oh, follow your heart. What does that mean, right? In our society, so many of us follow our brain. Not so many of us, almost all of us, we follow our brain. And we go through life thinking that, our brain's going to get us through this life, right? Our brain is smart, it has logic, it knows things, right? It knows what's best for us. So let's follow our ego, mind, brain. The problem with that is your ego, mind, brain is comprised of nothing but the thoughts and opinions of other people. That is what your ego mind when you're born is a blank slate. And as you're taught things by other people, as you learn things from society, from your parents, from your teachers, they kind of fill up this slate. They mold you into having these systems of belief, having these ideas that formulate your reality. And if you listen to your ego mind, you're basically, what you're doing is you're basing your life on the thoughts, opinions, and ideas of other people. Because they've formulated your ego mind. So a lot of people will use their ego mind. They'll use their brain to navigate through life. They'll say, okay, they'll scratch their head and they say, okay, here's my options. After high school, I want to make a lot of money. I want to start a family. I want to buy a house. So I need to get a good job. And then they'll say, okay, well, the thing I'm passionate about, the thing I really love to do, that doesn't pay the bills. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll get a job that is kind of interesting. I kind of like it. It's not what I love to do, but I kind of like it, and I'll get paid for it. So you go to college and you learn this skill, you learn this trade. So there's 4 or 5 years and 100,000 or more down the drain, gone, and then you'll get this job that you sort of like. And you're going to have to spend about, if you want to get that house, that family, that fancy car, the great bank account, you're going to have to spend 50 or 60 years working at this job. And if you sort of liked it at the beginning, by halfway, by 20 years in, it's going to kill you inside. You're going to be a shell of your former self because you're going to spend your life doing something that you do not love doing. You're going to just... the stress and the pressure is going to mount and mount and mount. You're going to age prematurely. You're going to get all sorts of diseases as a result of having an emotional imbalance in you. And eventually you're going to, maybe get that house once you're old enough to where you can't really do anything. You know what I mean? When you finally have enough money, air quotes, enough money, you're like in a wheelchair. You're in a hospital, right? And you're going to die, but the only thing that's going to give you any joy in this life is your kids. And you're going to program your kids to have this fruitless life that you've had. And that's going to be your joy, is to pass on the ideas that you've been passed on by your parents and your society. So basically, if you follow your ego mind, it's going to lead you down a dark road because this society is designed to suck the life out of people. Now, in the Alchemist, Santiago, the main character, he follows his heart. He may get stumbled by his ego mind, like he had to work a year in the crystal shop because he didn't think he had enough money. That was his ego mind telling him, you need money to get to Africa, so you better get a job. But most of the time along the way, he follows his heart. He follows his dream. He follows his dream, he follows his heart, and that's what more people need to do. That's what we have to do in this life. If we're going to lead lives that are filled with emotional balance, right? You need to follow your heart. and stop listening to your mind. And the thing about your heart is you need to do only what you are passionate about, only what you love to do. That is how you follow your heart. To put it into a tangible thing that you can take from this is remove the focus that you have on things that you think you should do and put the focus on the things you want to do. Really focus. Pursue your highest joy at all times. Whatever your highest joy is, pursue that. And if you're saying, oh, I can't make money off of it, yes, you can. If you're into music, there's a lot of musicians who live off of music. If you're into art, there's a lot of artists who live off their paintings or whatever kind of art medium they have. Okay, you need to follow your heart. It's your mind that's telling you you cannot do it. It's your ego mind that's trying to stop you, trying to get you to fit in with the rest of society. But that's not what this society needs. In order for this society to grow and become better, we need more people following their creative juices, following their heart, following their passions, doing what they were put here to do. And the funny thing about following your heart, in my experience, is that it's so strange. Okay, it's so strange. It'll do things that do not make sense to your logical mind. It'll tell you that you have, like, for instance, let's say you have this undeniable urge to go to Arizona, right? You don't know anyone in Arizona. You don't have anything that you want to do in Arizona, but you have this urge to go to Arizona. And your heart will tell you go to Arizona. It'll be in your dreams. You'll start seeing things about Arizona everywhere, and you won't really know why. Your logical mind will say, why would I possibly want to go to Arizona? But if you go to Arizona, the universe will conspire to put... It brought you to Arizona so that you could get the next piece of the puzzle. You'll meet someone there who's going to send you to the next part of your journey. And that's basically what the Alchemist is about. It's about, all these unrelated experiences that, when you really look at it at a cosmic level, it was put there on your path to get you to where you want to go. And your logical mind is going to try to make sense of it, but it can't. Imagine this analogy, okay? Your logical mind is in a forest, and it can see the tree in front of it, but beyond the few trees it sees, it's just nothing. It doesn't know how to get out of the forest, right? Your heart is on the top of a mountain overlooking the forest, and your heart can see the way out of the forest. It can see all the trees, and it tells you to go left, and your logical brain says, well, left doesn't make any sense. But your heart, your soul, can see that left is going to get you to a better place to make the next step. So you got to really trust your heart, trust your intuition, and psychic ability comes into this because psychic people, they're more closely connected to their heart and their soul, and they can hear the messages of their heart and their soul much clearer than people who do not have that psychic ability. But I shouldn't say that. We all have psychic ability. It's dormant in most of us, and you can unlock it. Again, go through the previous Creative Question of the Week videos, and you'll see a progression there. I give you guys the tools to unlock your psychic ability, and don't get hung up on the label of psychic, because it has such a bad connotation because society tries to suppress psychic ability. The term psychic ability is nothing more than an open communication with the part of you that exists on a different plane of existence. Yes, you're not just a human, you have a soul, and your soul, in extremely non-religious terms, don't see, there's so much dogma around these words, right? You hear this word and you hear the word soul and you think of Christian, right? No, every person has a soul, and it's the part of you that exists on a different plane, on a different dimension, but still with you, still inside of you, but on a different energetic level. So it's just a communication with that energetic level is all it is. So I encourage you all to read The Alchemist. It started me on my journey of self-discovery. I read it when I was I don't even know, 14, something like that. And it definitely changed my life then. And it was one of those pieces along the journey that helped me get to the next step. So really, it's a short book and it's really well written, and it's going to open your eyes to a lot of things. It's going to show you what I'm saying here in more artistic terms. Okay. So I encourage you all to go read The Alchemist. It is an amazing book. It is fantastic. So go read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. He's got a lot of books like that. He's he's in touch with his higher self. He's in touch with his spirit, and he writes from the perspective of a higher plane, really. So he has got a lot of books like that, but I think The Alchemist is his best and is most accessible, and it's his most popular. So go read that. All right, I want to thank Arit Sheth for that great question. All of you, go read The Alchemist. Go to your library. It's there. Go find it. Go read it. It's you gots to. You just got to. So I want to thank Arit Sheth and everyone who has questions. Please put your comments in the comments below about everything. Start a discussion with me. Let's talk about this. If you've read The Alchemist, let me know what you think. If you want to read it, put it in the comment section. And if you have a question for next week's Creative Question of the Week, put that in the comment section below. Let's get interactive, guys. All right, that's going to do it for me. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.